Hey guys, welcome back to the Hardcore Fab Shop. Today's video, we're going to be working on the 53. And if you guys are new to the channel, haven't seen the 53 yet, this is our 1953 Chevy that we started working on a few months ago, and we haven't worked on for like probably the last 4 months because we did so much work on the C50 and we had to get the C50 ready for rat stock. Well, rat stock's over, the C50's running and driving and out of the shop. Be it not driving well because we still got to put a tranny in it, and there's still a bunch of other stuff that I want to do to it, so there will be videos still on that truck coming up. And some of you have expressed your opinion on the sleeper and really got me thinking, and we might end up still doing a sleeper on the C50, but that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. So back to this thing though, this is going to be one of our priorities. This and the Jeep that we posted last week are going to be our main priorities on what we're going to be building here in the next few months. Potentially longer than that even. So anyways, there's still a ton of stuff left to do on this thing. So kind of catch you up on where we're at if you're new to the channel or if you missed some of the videos on this. This is a 53 Chevy. It's a 2-door that we chopped the top on. We did 3 inches in the front, 4 1/4 inches in the back. And then we took the back window and we replaced it with a 51 Chevy back window that we actually flipped upside down to put in the hole and make it fit right. That all looks pretty good back there. We Frenched the headlights all in right through here, as you can see. We've welded a strip up in the center of the hood, so that's all gone right there, making that a solid one-piece thing. Originally, these cars had a body line along the side of the fender here. We have taken that body line out because that just really kind of drove me nuts that there was a body line there, but not on the rest of the car, only on the fender. It did not make sense to me at all. Still does not. So that is gone. And now the back of this thing needed some pretty extensive work because the back of this thing was pretty ugly. So yeah, the back of this thing is pretty ugly and definitely needed something going on back there to make that have a little bit of style. So we got some Packard parts, and that was one of our last videos that we did on this thing. And today we're going to take those Packard parts and stick them on the back of the 53. Now, we've already put a little bit of time and energy into trying to figure out exactly what it is we're doing here, because there is no set way of doing it at this point. We're just making this up as we're going. So you kind of see we've got some stuff kind of mocked up over here on this side. We need to go ahead and do something similar to that on that side so that we can make sure that everything's on the same planes and same height and, you know, clock the right direction, blah, blah, blah. So let me show you a little bit closer here on what we got going on. Connor's making all kinds of noise with the lift over here. But now I'll grab you guys, I'll show you a little bit closer what we've done over here so you guys can kind of see, you know, what we're dealing with, and then we're going to go ahead and start cutting on that side and cut up the other quarter and go from there. So we cut off everything in there that was all related to the Oldsmobile stuff, and then they had some pie cuts here and kind of brought everything together to make that work. We relieved that and opened that back up. You can kind of see with the flow of the tape there that line's going to look pretty good, line up there. The flow down the side is looking pretty decent, so that's all good. And then we're even actually fitting fairly close at the bottom on both sides. So won't be too hard to make all of this work and line up, I don't think, at this point. I say it won't be too hard, but it's still a ton of work, don't get me wrong. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up, and Jeff's gonna go ahead and cut this all up. I'm gonna help Connor with some other stuff real quick, and then we'll be back. try it there. We'll see what we got. So we're just using self-tappers because it's quick and easy, and we can move it and change it all around. It needs to drop down. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right about there, which tells me we need to actually go up. I'm gonna put a line on here though, so we can see where we're at. Reference point. We'll take that back out and raise it back up about half an inch up.
Bottom look a little bit.
Down, 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 down. Connor's getting me filthy. So yeah, we put a couple of self-tappers in there. We can try to move it around at that point and be able to adjust everything out and get it the way we want it, real easy like we just seen. And later we'll go ahead and we'll trim everything out, and this will be butt welded. We're not overlapping the welds and all that kind of garbage. It'll actually be a nice clean trimmed out fit when we go to weld it up. Then for inside here, we're just taking some scrap metal and just tacking it to the body, and then we can move the light around a little bit and just tack it to that and kind of help get everything all orientated the right direction there too. So I'm gonna grab the welder. All right, so we stuck this up here and it wasn't even close. So Jeff came up with this here. He's got our levels all stuck out here. We have leveled the car to begin with, just FYI. And then now he put some levels out here and he's got it bouncing over there, got everything measured out. He measured back and forth and exited and all that stuff. So yeah, now we have a lot better idea to start with, just to even get it in the ballpark to begin where we're at. So we got to take this off and move a bunch from where we were.
Now or never.
You can take it upstairs.
You want it in the man cave area or
upstairs?
You have to read. I think we're out too far now.
Yes. Probably real close to right there. So this is what we're dealing with. It's been hours of this kind of stuff. I think you guys probably get an idea now at this point what it is we're doing. So we're gonna work on this to get it right, and then we'll bring you guys back and let you see where we're at. All right, so full disclosure, everything that you guys just watched, I actually shot months ago, before we started working on the C50. And I just was flat out feeling like I was out of time, so we had to just pretty well stop working on this thing. Plus, this was really not cooperating back here in the back, and I'll show you more of that here in a minute. But we ran out of time to work on the C50 as it was, so I really pushed it onto this a little bit farther than I should have. But that's here nor there, you know, whatever. So now we're back to work on this, and this thing was fighting us every step of the way. There isn't anything back here to really measure off of very good. The stuff that Jeff had set up there was kind of working, but it was kind of moving around a little bit too, so we needed something that was a little bit more permanent so we could have something good to measure off of, because there really isn't anything back here to try to measure off of or get a point of reference off of at all. So the one thing that I did off camera that you guys hadn't seen is I bent some conduit and had the same kind of contour as the quarter on the car here, so we could kind of continue that flow on that quarter back down to the tail light, so we didn't get kind of a flat spot in the top of it or anything. At least that's my hope, that we won't end up with a flat spot on top. So excuse me, you can't really see it much, but there is an arc in that. And then made two of them that were identical, and then lined them up right on the peak of this line here on the quarter panel, and stuck those on there and actually welded them to the car. So now we don't have anything that's moving around, and that gives us a little bit of something, you know, more permanent to measure off of. And rather than trying to measure off of anything in the trunk area, I went ahead and measured clear off of the door jamb so we could come off of there, because that's the only real for sure points that we got, you know, that's a nice clean crisp line or whatever that you can measure off of real easy. And that's how I set the ends of the tubing here, the conduit, so we would know for sure that we got the sides, you know, right that direction. And then also we leveled out the car to begin with, and then I took a level here and was leveling out the conduit, you know, across the back, of course. So now we can make sure that, you know, everything is on the right plane that direction. Then it was just a matter of figuring out, you know, if the light itself has a twist in it or not. And that was a lot harder than you think it would be to be able to get that figured out. And let me show you these other lights, because this was something that I didn't realize that we were fighting with to begin with, and it actually kind of screwed me over a little bit. But then once we got past that, it helped a lot. So let me show you over here real quick what I'm talking about. So in total, when we bought the Packard to be able to pull the lights off of, we ended up with 5 of these tail lights. And I just picked a couple of them that looked like they had the worst lens in them and the worst chrome to be able to use for mocking up, because I didn't want to have to take any chances of damaging anything or making anything worse than they was. Well, that wasn't the right way to do it, because these things are that much different. I'll zoom in on this here so you can see it. There's a huge difference right there when we're trying to actually dial something in to make it perfect. Just give you a little reference here with this pen. So there's 3/8 of an inch difference between those two lights, this one and this one, and then this one and this one, there's, you know, at least an 1/8 or maybe 3/16 difference there. And then the other two lights were actually different than these. So once I figured out that there was that much of a variable difference between each light, I took the lights that we had sitting up there and I lined them all up kind of like what I did there, and I picked the 2 lights that are the closest. And these 2 are actually pretty close to each other. They're within a few thousandths of being the same. So I don't know if they were originally both on the same car or not or what, but bottom line is they were the closest ones that line up, and they line up quite well with each other. So it's like, okay, we have to use those lights for mock-up, and those are the lights that are going to end up going on the car, because otherwise nothing's going to work out right, and we're going to have something that's going to be goofy. So now all that time and energy has gotten us to this point right here, and I think I'm actually finally ready to go ahead and cut this quarter up and start welding these 2 pieces together. And that'll lock this side permanently in place, and then we'll be able to start making the rest of the stuff that we need to fill in the gap up there. I guess I should talk about the reason why there is a gap up there, and it's because these quarter panels that we stole these pieces of sheet metal off of came off of a 57 Packard. Now, if it would have been a 56 Packard, it would have had this complete piece that we would have needed that would have went all the way over the top and back down, and would have been fairly close to this quarter right here originally. and would have been a nice, clean, smooth piece that we could have, you know, put on there, and it would have looked and worked out quite well. And I think that's usually what most people do. But we couldn't find one of those at anywhere close to what, you know, where we're sitting at with this. So because of that, I'm gonna have to make this piece in here, because the 57 Packard has kind of this weird little hat that sits up on top of there. And with the flow of the car and everything being nice and smooth and rounded and all of that, the weird little hat thing up there at the top, I don't think was gonna work. So I didn't want to use that and have that on here. I wanted it to have that clean, sleek look all throughout the whole rest of the car. So that's why we're having to build this top part up here. So that's gonna need a little bit more hammer and doll in, but we're getting pretty close there. The bottom section down there, one piece is kind of flat and the other one's more like a round deal. So I'm gonna get this thing up in the air and on the lift and be able to work on this back piece back here a little bit better once we go to put all this in. And when I do that, then I'll probably work on that a little bit more, so I don't have to be sitting down on the floor to be able to mess with that. So anyways, I think we'll keep moving on here with the rest of this up here. All right, let's see how our light looks in here now. What am I hitting? There. Flush, flush, flush. Looks good. Okay. And still good here. So we didn't move there too much. It's all right here exactly like it was before, so that looks good. I think our next step is going to be to build a kind of backer plate part here where the light's gonna kind of go up against. It does have one screw here in the end that it'll attach to right there at the point. So yeah, I think making that plate is going to be our next step. And then after get that shape in there with a little bit of a flange coming up, then we can bring the sheet metal down the side of the quarter over the top on the other side too, and attach to that plate. So with the shape of this thing, it's pretty well flat on the same plane right here as far as this direction, but this right here down the side has definitely got, you know, an arc into it as it goes down the light on each side. So I don't know, it's a little, there's a couple different ways that I'm seeing to be able to do this. The first way would probably be to just do some angle pieces with the brake, and then that'll be like a piece of angle iron basically, if you will, at that point, but out of sheet metal. And then we can go in there with the shrinker and shrink on this side, which will pull that light or pull that flange here in. So I'm gonna dump this off there yet. So I'm gonna try that first. It's up here in the end is gonna be a little bit tricky because it's pretty tight up in there, and we might end up having to make a relief cut here no matter what we do and do a little weld right there, but that won't be the end of the world if we got to do that. And then if that doesn't work, then the other way to do it would probably be to make a piece out of wood and do kind of a hammer form type deal. And that wouldn't be too bad, other than the fact that I don't have hardly anything here to do any woodwork with. So I'm gonna go with the angle setup to begin with. We'll see how that goes. If I can get something there that I like, then we'll continue on with that. If not, then we might have to take a different approach. So that gets us pretty close right there. You can kind of see a little bit of a wobble in the light itself right through there. So I'm not sure what we'll do about that. We might just maybe leave that. I'm not sure yet at this point, but you can see we've got a little bit of a curve here at the end, and then we've got this radius looking pretty good. So if we come up in here, you guys can kind of see the fit all the way around the edge. Up until about that point right there, we're gonna have to do a little bit more up in there, but I don't think we're gonna be able to do that with the shrinker. I'm gonna go ahead and take the other one and knock out a piece to go around the other side there. We'll kind of get that all dialed in and then see if we can't figure out a way to make the tip of it up there look good. All right, I got our pieces, and you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Well, this is kind of what it would look like here now. And you can see where that line is that I marked on there. That was actually traced off of the end of the light housing right here. And I did that on both sides, and then I went ahead and cut out the extra material that we have there on this one. And then I took the outside lip here and then just folded it in, welded that up, ground it smooth, and that went from being like this to now looking like this. So now I can do that again to this side over here. We'll be able to weld these two together and then slip this down on here, kind of like it was just sitting, and go from there. Only problem I'm having at this point right now is a reference point here with our conduit is in the way. So I want to go ahead and try to get this stuff kind of dialed in here real quick, make sure that looks good, and then it might be time to go ahead and pull the conduit off and start getting something figured out for doing something to fill in this panel right here. That didn't sound bad.
Almost caught it.
Do it at the top though, you're getting way too close to the housing of the light. I don't want to fuck up the housing. That's good. Now I'll do one inside, back this direction.
Get back to it. Done with me though?
Yep. So we got a pretty good flange now capping off the top of our light, and that's going to give us a good spot to work from here back to the back of our quarter to where we can kind of fill in the rest of this area. So it's going to be a little funky right up in here in this corner because this part's kind of facing up towards the sky, and we're going to want the quarter to come in like this. So we'll have probably take most of this flange off once we get up here to that point. But we're going to have to get some panels bent and kind of sit up here to begin with before we can dial that in. right, that's finally starting to look like something. We actually got the general shape there. There's still a ton of work left to do, and there was a ton of work to get it to this point right here. I made it look pretty easy in some of the video that I've already watched now that I've edited, and I have to tell you guys, I know a lot of you say, you know, oh, you make it look easy. Well, the editing makes it look easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of time and effort goes into here. You know, just fitting some of this stuff might take an hour to get, you know, something dialed in just right to where it fits, and you can just butt it right up there and you can weld it, you know, into some of this stuff. Like this seam right here, for instance, it still needs to cut all the way down to here and then down so we can get that fit and looking right. This side over here looks pretty good. Guess I can grab a camera and show you that. But there's still a ton of dialing everything all in to make it look nice before we can even then finish dialing it in with a little bit of body filler. But we don't want to be building things out of body filler. We want to be building things out of metal, and we just want to do the final dial in with the body filler. That's their goal. So anyways, yeah, ton of work, and we still have the other side to do, although we have been doing some of it, you know, in conjunction with doing it on both sides. So it's kind of like, well, figured out what works on this side, we can transfer it over to the other side, and it makes that side go a little bit quicker. Like, for instance, everything is pretty well there on this side, except for, you know, this top piece of the cord that goes on. So once you get this kind of finished up and dialed in over here, go back over to there and get that one dialed in as well, and just keep bouncing back and forth. I just didn't want to show you guys doing the same thing over and over again on the other side. I am waiting on Jewel to get here in a second so that we can make a big announcement that we've got coming up for you guys, and this is about as far as I can go on this today because I'm out of gas for the welder and pretty well out of time because we need to do some video editing on all this stuff and get it put together for you guys to see and get it posted. So as soon as she gets here, we'll share our big announcement with you guys.
So I finally made it to work. I was a little late. I had a doctor's appointment anyway. And he said that he wanted me to be a part of a special announcement.
Yep.
And before we get started and all of that, Otis Deal and his wife Lisa sent us some cool stickers. We got those in the mail, so I wanted to give them a shout out. They're down in Cocoa, Florida. That's where the, Daytona, Florida, Daytona Beach is where the turkey run is that we went to last year. Mm-hmm. We would love to go and do that again. I've got family actually in Cocoa, Florida, so maybe we can catch up with you at some point in the future. Not gonna happen this Thanksgiving, however, because of my situation. I did want to just take a real quick minute to let you guys know how I'm doing. Thank you so much to all of you who have been continuously asking how I'm doing. And for those of you who don't know, the reason that is back in July, I found out I was diagnosed with cancer. Turns out it was breast cancer, for those that didn't catch on to that. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so it seems kind of appropriate that we throw it out here now. I did ended up having the mastectomy. Now I can feel you guys all looking at my chest. But they did pathology, and not to get too TMI and too technical, the medical term was triple negative invasive carcinoma, which means the mastectomy wasn't enough, and I am going to have to undergo some chemo for the rest of the year and into next year. So that really sucks. Yep. It's not like I get to have chemo. It sucks. I've already had my first round. Not a fan. But I do appreciate all of you guys, all of your support. I feel it here. It's awesome. Have those ladies checked, because mine are trying to kill me. So it's important. Anyway, the announcement is I finally
have had enough time now since you've been at home.
I've been at home working. Oh yeah, and while I'm at home working, I have been working on the webpage. If you've been to the webpage in the back passed and it had gobs of ads all over it. I am currently trying to work on that and getting those removed, so I apologize, but hopefully in the future that won't inundate you with Google AdSense ads all over the place. It got a little carried away. Also, while I've been at home, I've been obsessed with doing a build, because I can't wait to get past this, get on the other side of cancer, and get back in the shop and building something. I've got my I Beat Cancer build in my head of what I want to do, way obviously ahead of myself. We've got lots of stuff going on in the back, and I have to get past cancer. But the only hint I'm going to give you is I want to give the Dodge brothers some love. So be looking forward to that build coming up. I'm excited about getting back in there and actually build something again. So anyway, but announcement. Sorry, I got on a tangent.
Yes, you did.
I've designed, with some help of some clever people, some new Hardcore Fab logo and a new t-shirt design. Ba-ba-da! There it is.
So everybody's been asking us for swag and all that stuff, t-shirts and stickers and all that stuff. We are in the midst of it. We're getting it done. And speaking of which, we're going to do a pre-order on t-shirts.
Yes, just in time for Christmas. Pre-order. If you go to the hardcorefab.com website, you can pre-order that t-shirt now, t-shirt or sweatshirt, your choice. We will get it out before Christmas, as long as you get in there and order it quick. What was our cutoff date? November.
About 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, three weeks from now. This is Wednesday though, that weekend. I'll put the date in the comment below. There'll also be a link in the description. I'll have a link, and I'll have the cutoff date for the sale price. The shirts are on sale for pre-order, and if you pre-order.
So yeah, we're gonna do a sale if you pre-order, and then we're also going to throw in stickers, and the stickers will be free of charge. We got a hookers and blows sticker, and another hookers and blows sticker, and a hardcore fab sticker.
Yeah, so you're gonna get a little sticker pack along with your t-shirt or sweatshirt order, as long as you order with this pre-order sale.
The pre-order thing is gonna help us get started doing this whole merch thing, because it's quite expensive to get started having any kind of inventory to be able to work with.
And this is different because we are going to be storing in inventory here. We've got the space now, we can do it. I think down below you'll see a link to our Hardcore Fab Teespring store where you can order our t-shirts that way. That's through Teespring. You can still do that, but we will be phasing that out and going just to the ones that are available on our webpage. I apologize, but at this time, this pre-order is only for continental US. We can't do any overseas orders at this time. I'm working on it. I'll get it
more stuff to figure out.
We'll get there eventually, but for right now, in order to get them out by Christmas, hitting that deadline, it's just going to be for the US orders at this time. So just stay tuned for the other. I'm working on it. But yeah, these so you can't buy these. These shirts are not available at our Teespring store. They're only available right now at hardcorefab.com. Go over there, check them out.
Speaking of which, part of the reason why we got away from the Teespring, or are getting away from the Teespring, is I haven't been super happy with the quality over there. So that's been kind of my thing, why I haven't been talking about or pushing it or anything. It's sometimes good and sometimes not. Yeah. I think it just kind of varies on who they're getting what from.
You never know who the manufacturer is of the t-shirt when you get them from them.
But we have been doing a major deep dive into the whole t-shirt thing, trying to figure out something.
I know more about thread count than I ever wanted to know.
We're wanting to put out the best quality that we can of shirt for, you know,
still
the
have it be a
decent price.
Right?
You don't want to have it be $100 t-shirt, but at the same time, those ones that you hold up and you can see through both layers and out the front.
Or you wash it one time and the logo's falling off and they shriveled up into this big, yeah. Or we didn't want any of that. We wanted something that we were proud to put our name on. So we've done that research. We think we found one to go with. So we're ready to roll.
We appreciate your guys' jumping in there with us on this, and then any kind of feedback that you guys will have from these, we'll take that in consideration and hopefully just keep making everything better from here. That's kind of our goal. So.
Our goal is to have them in store, in stock, and available. And yes, we will take welcome any input from you, and we really love your support.
So I guess that's kind of all we got for today.
Thanks for staying this long.
Yeah, appreciate you guys watching, following along with builds and all that kind of stuff. And I guess we'll talk to you next time.
Next time.